Is flirting harmless fun, or does it cross the line into cheating? In this video, we dive into the psychology and science of attraction, relationships, and trust to uncover whether flirting counts as betrayal or just playful behavior. You'll learn why people flirt, how partners perceive it, and what science says about emotional boundaries. What do you think? Is flirting harmless, or is it cheating? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if it made you think. Don't forget to subscribe to Ignite for more science-backed insights on love, relationships, and self-growth. You know that moment when someone smiles a little too long at a stranger, tosses a playful compliment, or laughs just a bit too loudly at someone else's joke? The question almost always follows, is that cheating? Here's the tricky part. Flirting exists in a space that feels like a gray zone. On one hand, it can look harmless, just a little social spark. On the other, it can feel like a betrayal when you're in a committed relationship. So, which is it? To answer that, we need to look at what science and psychology tell us about human behavior. Flirting, at its core, is a signal. Evolutionary psychology suggests it developed as a way to test attraction, create curiosity, and build connections. Anthropologists even describe it as social play, where people use small cues, like eye contact or teasing language, to gauge interest without committing to anything. In fact, studies show that most people admit to flirting even when they're in relationships. So clearly, it's a built-in part of how we interact. But here's the key question. Does intent matter more than the act itself? Think about it. If flirting is simply playful banter without any deeper intentions, some people argue it's just harmless social behavior. It's like adding spice to a conversation without serving a full meal. But psychology also tells us something important here. Relationships are built not just on physical exclusivity, but also on emotional trust. The moment a partner feels that your playful behavior violates trust, the damage is real, whether or not you technically cheated. Here's where boundary lines come into play. Emotional boundaries operate like invisible contracts. For some couples, even liking a flirty photo on social media crosses the line. For others, playful compliments might not cause ripple. Research in relationship psychology calls this perceived betrayal, meaning cheating isn't always defined by the action itself, but by whether your partner feels their trust has been compromised. And this leads us to something even more interesting. Flirting isn't always about other people. Sometimes, people flirt just to boost their own confidence. There's science showing that small social validations, a laugh, a smile, even a little extra attention, activate your brain's dopamine pathways, temporarily making you feel more valued. But if that dopamine fix comes at the cost of weakening your partner's trust, you have to ask, is the boost worth the breach? So, is flirting cheating? The truthful answer, it depends. It depends on the values you and your partner agree upon, the boundaries you set, and the trust you protect. Flirting isn't inherently evil. It's a very human behavior. But it can tip into cheating when the intention behind it undermines the connection you've built in your relationship. Here's a way to rethink it. Instead of asking, is flirting cheating? Ask, does this action protect the trust I share with my partner, or does it erode it? Because at the end of the day, the heart of every relationship is trust. Flirting can be playful, but cheating is defined by broken trust. So before you dismiss it as harmless or label it as betrayal, reflect on what feels right for you and for the person who's chosen to share their time with you. That choice, the boundaries you create together, matters more than universal rules. And protecting that trust, that's what makes love durable. Now I'll leave you with this question. Would you feel comfortable if your partner did exactly what you just did? If your answer feels shaky, maybe it's time to rethink where you draw the line.